Hello everyone, so today I am here with my April book haul. I bought a lot of books in April. I bought a lot of books in April. I bought a total of 17 books, now that I'm looking at my list. I finally came off of my book buying ban, so I just bought all the books. But luckily, a lot of these books I have already read, but I'm just going to get right on into it and show you guys the books that I bought at the end of March and in the month of April. The first book I picked up was one of my most anticipated releases of 2016, and that is The Winner's Kiss by Marie Rukowski, however the hell you say that. I think I've been saying it wrong for like a year and a half, but Marie Rukowski. I have obviously been anticipating this just like everyone else who has read The Winner's Crime Curse trilogy thing. This is the finale of the series, and I have already read this, so I will be talking about it more in my wrap-up. I also picked up The Heir of Novron by Michael J. Sullivan, which is the third and final volume in the I'm also pronouncing that wrong. Rhyria Revelations series. I have also already completed this, and I have an entire review on this series that I'll link down below, and I'll also be talking about it in my wrap-up. So, I also picked up The Hardboiled Wonderland and the End of the World by Haruki Murakami this month. I have also already read this book, and I will be putting up a review for this very soon, which I will link down below and talk about in my wrap-up. Like, that's going to be every book in this freaking book haul. But yes, I picked up this to read in the month of April because I'm slowly making my way through his works, and I've been getting all of them in the vintage edition, which I think is just gorgeous. Next up, I made a order on thrift books, so I got a couple of books I have actually been wanting for quite a while, as well as a book that my teacher recommended me. But the first book I got was Soulless by Gail Carriger. This is a paranormal, urban fantasy-ish adult novel that follows a woman who does not have a soul, and I believe she does stuff with other people's souls. And everyone has been reading this recently, and I have been eyeing it for quite a while, so it kind of inspired me to get my own copy. It is a mass market paperback, which I'm not a huge fan of, but I hopefully will ignore that and just read it, because I've been hearing nothing but good things about this series. It's supposed to be very, very fun, because urban fantasy, like paranormal stuff, is always really fun. But yes. The next book that I picked up was The Lies of Locke Lamora by Scott Lynch, which is a part of the Gentleman Bastard series. I have been wanting to read this series for quite a while, but I never got around to buying it because it is actually a pretty good sized book, even though it looks very small. But this follows a group of like tricksters and thieves and stuff who harass this fantasy world, and that's all I really need to know about a book, is it has thieves in it and it's fantasy. And this book just sounds like so much fun, so. And I also picked up the New York Trilogy by Paul Auster, which is the book that my teacher recommended me, because it's the same one that read The Wind-Up Bird Chronicle, and he said that this starts out very, very similar to that, and has the same sort of feel to it, and he's been reading it and loving it, so I wanted to pick it up because he doesn't suggest books all that often for me to read, so when he showed me this, and I did read the first chapter when he handed me his copy, it just seems very, very interesting, and yes, they gave me a library binding, which I'm not very appreciative of, but I'll just deal with that. The next couple of books are books I picked up at my library's book sale, so all of these books were like either $1 or 50 cents. So the first book I got is actually not a novel, and it is this. It is on German grammar, and actually my friend's sister found this, and she knows that I'm studying German, so it looks really old, but it seems to be like a pretty like new book, maybe just made to look old, but yeah, this is just German grammar, and I also got German Made Simple because I had to return my textbook to the library, so I got this, and this is just very, very basic beginner's German to learn, you know, fun stuff. I also picked up a copy of The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown, which is my friend's like favorite book, and I have tried reading, I believe, Angels and Demons by him, and I couldn't get into it, but The Da Vinci Code is like the most famous of those kind of novels. I'm not the biggest fan of like mystery novels, but it's my friend's favorite book, so I told her I'd give it a shot, and it was only like $1 there, so it was a perfect opportunity to pick up a copy. I also got from the library sale Baby Proof by Emily Giffin, which is about a woman who is very like independent, and she says she doesn't want to get married, she doesn't want to have kids and everything, which I relate to, but of course in this story she finds a boy, and I think he also doesn't want kids, but they kind of like fall in love, and it goes from there. I picked this up just figuring in the summer if I want like a really cute like little contemporary adult novel I can pick it up. And the last book I picked up at the library sale was Lost in Translation by Nicole Moniz, which is about a woman who is in China and is helping discover a mystery with a pathologist, is that what they're called? Archaeologist. And I have tried reading this book and I ended up putting it down because it was just very, very boring. I liked the first like chapter or two because it was describing Beijing, and that's what I was interested in this book for, was like the culture and living in Beijing and everything, but it became like just about these two Americans, and it got very, very boring, and it wasn't what I was looking for in a book, but I only spent $1 on it, so it's whatever. The next couple of books are from Thrift Books, and the first book I got was The Unquiet by Michaela Everett, which I have started reading and I'm really enjoying right now. But this I was very, very pleased about because I originally ordered it, and then I was told it was going to be a library binding, which I was like, and then it came, and it's like a perfect, like, hardcover book, and I'm like, I didn't order a new hardcover book, but it came as a new hardcover book, which is beautiful. But anyways, this book follows a world where there are two Earths, and the children on one Earth are being trained to infiltrate the Earth number 2 and take over their alternate's life so they can infiltrate that Earth and, like, take over. This reminds me of a movie that I saw and I actually really enjoyed, and I'm very happy that I picked it up because so far I am really, really enjoying it. I also picked up All the Truth That's in Me by Julie Berry, which is about a girl who is attacked or raped, I can't actually remember, and she gets her face mutilated, but when she goes back to her normal life, there are obviously like people stare at her and like think she's very strange, and like she has a very hard time coping, and it's kind of about her journey through this whole like thing happening to her, and I thought it sounded really, really good and like a very important book to read, so I picked it up. This is another weird instance of Thrift Books. I ordered this book thinking it was a library hardcover binding, which I was just going to rip the binding off of, and then I got a confirmation about it, and suddenly it was a regular hardcover, and then it came, and it's an ARC. But I picked up The Legacy of Kings by Eleanor Herman, which is a high fantasy novel that came out a little bit ago. It's September of 2015, and I've seen so many people talking about it. It's very, very interesting because the woman, Eleanor Herman, is actually a historian, so this book follows kind of like a fantastical version of like King Arthur, I believe. And it just sounds very, very interesting. I'm not too bummed that I got a random proof copy. I've never had an ARC before, but yeah, I mean, it's better than a hardcover because it's paperback, so. And the final book that I got this month is Please Look After Mom by Kyung-Suk Shin, which I am in the middle of. This is a Korean novel about a woman who goes missing and her family is trying to find her. It's told from all of the children and father's point of view, like trading off kind of thing. And so far I am enjoying it. It's not amazing, but it is a very highly acclaimed Korean novel, and I'd never read a Korean novel, so I'm hoping like the ending is like very, very impactful and powerful or something. Okay, now I gotta try to stack all these books. So here are all of the books that I bought in the month of April. Yeah, okay, this is a bigger stack than I thought it was. Haha, yes, there we go. Anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video, and leave down below if you have read any of these books and what your thoughts were on them. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye!